and get on top of it. Because I was doing other things, like I was making a thumbnail for one of my YouTube channels, and I've decided that I do, well, I've always done this for a long time, but I'm just prioritizing doing live content. Because right now, and there's a lot of people that have certain niches. And I've always been about, I like live to YouTube lives. I never felt like you had to go to YouNow or some other platform to go live. And it's funny. It's funny how something I've just always enjoyed doing, like the YouTube live content, is now being encouraged. It's like people are being encouraged to go live on YouTube. It's really interesting how things have changed recently. I think this change came about when YouTube wanted to start competing with TikTok, and TikTok lives were becoming more popular, and because YouTube does everything TikTok does. So, you know, I don't want to be heavily political because, well, I mean, politics are part of discussions of current events to some degree, but I don't want to be the type of person that um, gets so mired up in it. So, a lot of conservatives love to make fun of how liberals act and how Democrats act, but oh my gosh, can they read the room? Like Trump and his inauguration, if he really wants to help the American people, great. I will wait and watch and see. If you are going to bring, like, I have my concerns, like, I don't see how raising tariffs on imports when most products are imported these days that consumers are buying is going to help U.S. economy. But if you say so, I'll listen. I don't know how these leggings ended up over here. They were supposed to be in the closet. These are mine, not hers. She doesn't wear leggings. I need to put these away. So I think I just accidentally put them there earlier. But yeah, so if that's the case, like if technically, I guess he's saying, I don't see how that's probable, but let's just see. I think what's going to happen is this. I don't think that's probable. This is the truth. The real truth that nobody wants to admit. Some of the corporations might start lowering the prices because they finally got their way, because they have somebody in office that's going to give them bigger tax cuts. I'm not saying every Democratic policy was the best, because yeah, there were certain policies that probably weren't the best economic wise, but the cost of living's been going up astronomically in the last, couple of decades, really. And some of that is because corporations see a profit, like just making a pure profit and price gouging. And some of that's all that's about. So when most things are imported into the US, I don't say I don't see how raising tariffs is going to make things more affordable for Americans, because right now, the way it is, and this is just the history of labor. A lot of people felt that in the beginning of time, when they used to have sweatshops in the US and we started having antitrust legislation, not antitrust, I mean, pro-labor legislation where people had to be paid a living wage and they needed to have a 40-hour work week and things like that. A lot of employers didn't like that. And there used to be a lot of factory jobs in the US, but the corporations said that they were going out of business and that they would make more money shipping these jobs overseas. So that's what they did. They shipped their factories overseas. So, and they always said it was about profit. So nowadays, there are some things made in the USA, but there's a lot of things that are made abroad. So raising a 25% tariff, what's Iran have to do? I don't know. That's not what we're talking about today. You're from Iran? Is that where everybody's saying they're from? Okay. Somebody's from Brazil. Okay, so this is my point here, dear. This is my point. I don't see how raising a tariff is going to make things more affordable. And this is political play, and it's kind of like divide and conquer politics. I'm going to wait and see. hopefully prices go down, just because prices are out of control right now. Like, you go to the grocery store, and I was going to try this hack, right, of like just something with Nair. Well, I have no bad impressions of Brazil, but I can really only speak about American policy because I'm not Brazilian. I'm an American, but I take a very like third party look at this. I don't look at this from a very left or right where they all want to be bickery and they want to fight to the bits, because that's what Trump and Obama want for you. They want you to fight. They want you to go up to bat against each other while they act like buddies at Carter's funeral. Just remember this, okay? Remember this in your mind. So, and then today, looking at the inauguration, all the CEO tech people, except for she wasn't there. Interesting, right? Yeah, they're all there. They're all, and I guess some of the lawmakers were upset that, oh, why is Elon Musk and Zuckerberg and Bezos getting front row seats at the inauguration? But like you know why? Because we've allowed lobbies to run rampant. There's no antitrust legislation anymore. And I'm going to tell you this, I don't think it's going to get better. I don't think that Trump is like some special little lamb. And I just thought about like the differences between Carter's inaugural address and Trump, like, and the things that they said, like when they were having a clerical person make a speech about him, it didn't seem very humble. And that's one thing. I feel like sometimes Trump could be more humble. He really could, but humility is not his grape jelly jam. It's just not. We're entering an era where narcissism is really a thing. I mean, Kamala Harris did it too, right? I don't know what the bottle is. The bottle makes no sense, okay? Okay. So, we're in an era of narcissism. Kamala Harris did it. Trump does it worse. And it's just very narcissistic the way that our politicians are these days. And I feel the economy would be better right now if corporations just wanted to be fair and not make things really super expensive. But they put profits over people, and this is not anti-capitalist. This is just a free market perspective that, and the whole TikTok thing, like wanting to ban it. I'm putting away laundry. So anyway, at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. Like, they want to all fight, and people want to think that Trump's the best or the worst thing. I just don't think it's anything. I don't think the economy's going to magically snap back overnight. And if prices go down, I'm going to see it because corporations got their way, because they wanted somebody that would lower their tax bracket. And that's kind of how I view it. But economically speaking, things were better, I would say, in the 80s and 90s. They just were. Will we ever be there again? I would hope so, for the American people. But nobody really cares about real stuff. They're distracting you. Like, everything they talked about, that Trump talked about today, was a distraction. Like, he kept saying, oh no, like the border and gender. And those things are not the most important things. The things that nobody cares about is the housing crisis. They just don't care. Like, they don't care, like, that people can't afford houses. They don't care about student loans. And I'm not even saying that, I know, like, people were so mad about what Biden wanted to do with student loans, but right now, a whole bunch of people are saying they can't afford to go to school because it's too expensive. I mean, I don't speak Portuguese. I know obrigado means thank you. I know that. So, yeah, I'm not going to fall for all the political fighting. Everybody wants to fight over, my politician's better than your politician. But at the end of the day, this inaugural speech, a lot of things that were said, It's just a pattern that I've been witnessing for a long time. So people have been saying that the left is all about like narcissism and the left is all about being full of themselves. But I see that on the right too. I see that in a lot of political persuasion. And the truth is, if you want to just live a better life, you have to stop playing into the left and right. You just do. So for the next 4 years, I don't know what the answer is. I'm not going to pretend like this is like, oh wow, the best day of my life. But I'm not going to cry over Trump being president either because he was president. Um, I just am doing laundry, not going anywhere specifically. So I'm not going to act like, oh my gosh, like the world's going to end because he's president. He was president before, okay? He was. I mean, the economy was okay. It was better than under Biden, I guess. But I think some of this is corporate greed too. I don't think it's completely, like, I do think that Biden has some not so good policies, economic wise, but I think some of it's corporate greed too. I feel like it's more complex than what they want to make us see. And I do find it a little interesting that government lobbies are just getting. He's a businessman, but he's not the best businessman. That's the thing. Like, he loved corporate welfare. Just go back in time, watch the Giuliani Trump ad where Giuliani's wearing drag and Trump's trying to sniff him in the 90s, and he was talking about how Giuliani was giving out corporate welfare. It was kind of weird. So he's an okay businessman, but he declared bankruptcy on multiple occasions.